Okay, time for section 5.3. If you'll remember a couple days ago, I told you when you were solving equations, you solve them exactly the same as, no, scratch that. When you're solving inequalities, you solve them exactly the same as you do whenever you solve equations, except for one thing. Well, today we get to talk about that one thing. There's only one thing that's different, one thing that's new, one thing that changes anything. Everything else is exactly the same. So, for this problem right here, it is exactly the same. I'm going to draw my line just like before, divide both sides by 7, and you get y is less than 4. Still got my 0, still got my 4, open circle because it's not included, and I shade it this way. Just like before. Nothing has changed, nothing is different. For this one, draw my line just like before. Divide both sides by 3, just like before. Get t, same symbol, 12. Just like before, 0, 12, open circle, goes this way because the little arrow points this way. Nothing different, new, or strange. Everything works the exact same. But when we get to a problem like 22, it is slightly different. But what makes it slightly different isn't the fact that we have to combine like terms. That all works the same. We still get a negative 2x on this side and a 40 on that side. What makes it slightly different is when we do our division. Over here when we did our division, we divided by a positive number on both sides. Over here when I do my division, what am I dividing by? A negative 2. That negative right there, this one right here, is what makes things change. So I'm still going to end up with an x on this side. It doesn't mess with my numbers. I still end up with a 20 on this side. Sorry, a negative 20 because, division and all. But my sign changes because of that. It'll change from going in that direction to flipping around and going in that direction. Whenever you divide by a negative, it flips your sign. So now, when I do my graphing, I still have my negative 20 over here and my 0 over there. That hasn't changed. It's this sign that changed. So, because there's no line underneath it, it's going to be an open circle, and now it points in that direction. So I have to shade all the things on this side of it, instead of it pointing in the other direction. It switches directions whenever you divide by a negative. That's the only difference. Now you need to be careful about problems like number 24. First of all, draw your line so you can tell where the line is. Then make sure your letter is always on the left-hand side. We want it on the left-hand side so we can use our trick. Not on the left-hand side, cannot use the trick. So I'm going to subtract 4c from both sides. That leaves me with negative 2c and 9. Now I have to divide by, and right here, just so you understand, this symbol still goes that way. It's the act of dividing by the negative 2 that flips my symbol over to being less than. So now I have a c and a negative 9 over 2. It doesn't matter if this is positive or negative as your answer. What matters is that the number you're dividing by is negative. has nothing to do with whether or not it's positive or negative there. Once again, I don't care that that's in between 4 and 5. Couldn't care less. As long as you put it down, I'm okay. Two more I want to try. Number 28, negative 3 over 5x is greater than or equal to 15. Depends on how you were taught and which way you liked better. You could flip it over and multiply by a negative 5 over 3. That'll work. But remember, part of that is division, and you have that negative in there, which means it's going to end up flipping your sign, which is why we went over this. Or you could multiply and then divide, which is what I'm going to do because it's the way I like working better. So I'm going to multiply everything by 5 first. So over here, my 5s will cancel out, and I'll get negative 3x is greater than or equal to 75. And then divide both sides by negative 3, which is what flips my sign. That's why I circle it and draw an arrow, because it reminds me I need to change my sign that was there. So that cancels that out, and I get x is less than or equal to negative 25. Close circle this time, going this way, because it flipped. And then one more. Number 36. Negative 25 and negative 5w. Now, part of you really wants to go ahead and just get rid of the negative 5w, flip your sign, everything will be fine, good, and wonderful. But that is not what you should do. Once you have it down and you see that you have all your letters on this side and your number on this side, I'm going to show you a trick. In order for me to get my letters on the other side, I can flip it like a pancake. You cooked pancakes before. I was there. So when you flip pancakes, you have to slide your spatula up underneath the whole problem, flip it over. And when I go to slide my spatula up underneath this problem and I flip it over, that's going to put my negative 5w on this side. And it's going to put my negative 25 over there. But it's also going to flip that sign, because when I pick it up and I flip it over, it changes the direction of that sign. I haven't done anything to the problem but flip it like a pancake. Now I can go back and divide both sides by negative 5, and my w's on the correct side. But I divided by a negative, so that changes my sign. And then 5 goes into negative 25, a positive 5 times. Like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with whether or not your answer is negative. It has everything to do with whether or not you're dividing by a negative. Solid, shading to the right. That's probably you. So now you learned about flipping the inequalities and flipping stuff like a pancake. Now you're ready for homework, classwork, all that good stuff. It is on page 197, because I cater to you. Classwork, practice exercises, numbers 4, 6, 10, 14, and 16. 5 problems. Homework, because you cater to me. Practice exercises. Numbers 1, 5, 9, 13, 17, 21, 25, and 35. 8 problems. You can do it. Don't worry about checking the inequality. You check your work when you look in the back of the book.